Okay, inspiration video number 4, if I'm not mistaken. This is a picture. I don't even know who it was from. I didn't have on there who it was from or what group. But just a little holder, ephemera holder, floating pocket, whatever you want to call it. But this is the picture I saw, and I'm actually going to do something different and go more detail because this is not as simple to figure out by just from a picture. So I'm going to go through and just show you my process, and we'll see how it turns out. And you'll see my mistakes. You'll see how I do it and work through that. But here's my picture. And I want to make sure I keep the picture in line. There we go. All right. Mock-up. I just did a simple mock-up by looking at the picture. This is a little bit different. I did the fold on the opposite side. Of course, we can turn it this way. But I knew it had a little flap. So I knew I had to do that. And I needed to decide how wide I wanted it. And by looking at the picture over here, it had that looks like could be a double pocket, what they slid in there. But I haven't really hooked that yet, but it looked like there was a pocket down here that was underneath a flap. So there was the flap, and then that's a pocket. So that's sort of my mock-up I did from first to see, oh, can I get it to look, is my thinking right? So that was that. Then I grabbed some scrapbooking paper, and I tried one. I just took a 12x12 sheet that was double-sided. That's the coordinating. And I said, okay, there's the flap that opens. I open it up. Over here's my pocket on this side. Flap that flips up. And a pocket right there. So, I think I replicated pretty good. I didn't round the corners or anything, but so there we go on that one. So, I'm going to show you my process. So, here's my 12x12 sheet of paper. It's double-sided. Whichever way I decide to fold it, this will probably be on the outside, so I'll need to make sure. So, my first thought is, from the picture, I need to determine how wide I want my folio area here, my little ephemera holder or whatever. I need to figure out how wide. I'm not worried about the height at this point. That can be cut down and taken care of later. So I've got to decide, okay, how wide do I want it? And I need to remember that there is a flap that comes out. And then the pocket's going to fold over. So that means either side of these, one will be the flap and one will be the pockets. So I'm going to sit here and determine how wide do I want it. I want it maybe that wide. That would give me that much room. Yep. I like that there. So I'm going to fold it. I'm just lining up the edges. No measurements. No measurements. So I've got that. I know that there's going to be a pocket that comes. So this is where my decision on how wide I want it for sure. Because I'm going to start there. I did my first fold. And no, that's not even folded evenly. Because where I was just turning my side. It doesn't matter. So this is my piece. This piece right here. It's going to have that pocket. So I need to decide, okay, for sure now, how wide do I want it and how far do I want that fold? I think right there. So I just line up the bottom edges of my paper. Fold it. So right there would be that pocket. So if it was laying open, it would be right there. All right. So I know that this flap has to come over. So I need to close this. And look there. There we go. Turn that flap over. And so you can see, I know that's pretty cool the way that they really did good on that paper. Lines up, you know, anyway. So I've got my opening flap. Opens up. And there, now, okay. Now that I have got that done like that, I want to make sure I've got it good and straight up here. I don't think I got my fold. There we go. This is where it comes in. How tall do I want it? And I'm going to determine my height. Okay. I'm using my old Creative Memories cutter, which is awesome. So I think I'm going to make my height be from here to here. So now I determine it's already... So that's why I wasn't worried about the height to start with. And this makes it... When you go by a picture, you just get your... You get your initial, and then you just work from it in there. Okay? All right, so now I've got this piece. Now that could be a mini one, but that's not what I'm using it for. If you remember, there's a flip up and a pocket here. That's what this is going to be used for. So I'm going to open this up because now I'm going to work on this middle part. Trying to stay, but keep the picture, the inspiration picture, so y'all can do that. Because I know people's thoughts go differently. So what I'm going to do, since I've already got this folded here, I'm actually going to use this where it's folded as my cut line. And that's determining my height of my other pieces. If you want to use your cutter for this, use your cutter for it. I'm a freehand cutter most of the time. Now I've got these two pieces. They're exactly the same, but now do you notice it's a little wide here? Because we're going to have to fit it here. And that's going to be flipping up, so that means it can't go directly to the folds. So this is how my brain works, because I am not a measurer. If you're a measurer, get out your ruler, measure, mark, and do that. No, that's not the way I do it. I know I can't have it laying against the fold, so I'm laying this piece down where the fold is right there. Move it over just slightly to give it room. And then I take my writing utensil. There's that other fold is right there. And I just come in, I'm putting a little mark right there. So that tells me where I need to cut. And since these are all straight edges, this is the easiest for me. I will line that little mark up on my cutter. Make sure it's straight up here, and down I'll come. Now I come back over. Make sure I use that little fold that was there to make my attachment. And if I close that, and if it's lined up right, and I make sure, yep, everything closes, doesn't catch. Now I've got my flip that flips up. Here's the good thing. I need my pocket just as wide. So I'm just going to use that as my pattern. Oh, well, my hands are shaking today. Could be because I'm tired. There we go. So I've got my pocket piece and my flip piece. I'm just going to lay those there to see. I don't want my pocket to come up that far, but I like that it's hidden underneath. So I am going to measure, and I think I'm going to change this. I'm going to make that shorter so that comes out longer. And you're going, well, there's a crease there. Well, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. You really can't see it when it lays there. I'm going to show you how I'm going to hide that in a minute. So if that lays there, my pocket's there. So I can literally cut my pocket. This is already a straight line with this chevron piece. So I'm just going to follow those lines and cut it by hand. Very simple, easy straight line. See, there we go. Now, unfortunately, when I did this one, it's seamless. You sort of, I mean, it was really hard for you to notice there was that flap coming over there. But with this one, you're going to notice. I can do one of two things. I think this is what I'm going to do this time. I'm going to make sure that's lined up. I've got it snug in there. I'm going to open this up. And where did I put them? Right here. I'm going to do something different this time. I'm actually going to put a little thumb piece. And how I do mine with my cutters, I don't measure. A lot of people measure. I just make sure it's lined up the same on this side and that side. And then I watch through here how far down I want it. And that looks about straight. And then I just, there we go. See? Little thumb hole. When I tell you all I'm not a measurer, I literally mean I eyeball everything. So to get that lined up. And how am I doing that? I'm making sure my space on this side of the fold and over here on this side of the fold are the same. Then I hold that down so that it doesn't slide. And put my glue for my pocket. And I'm probably not in frame right now, but that's okay. You know exactly how to do that. But I do not want to slide it, take a chance of moving it. And now my pocket is there. on the inside. Now, this is what I was talking about how I wanted to do on the back side. Instead of gluing this completely down, I think I'm going to turn this into a little pocket as well. So I'm going to put glue on either side there, on those two sides. And now I will have that pocket on the back side. And it runs a different direction, so that now is purposeful and doesn't look as strange. And I can add decorations onto the pocket and up here later on. All right, so now I've got my pocket. Now I want my flip it. So I'm going to hook that on there. And it's going to be pretty much the same thing. You're going to make, this is the tricky part here. When you put this on here, because you cut that, used them as the same pattern, you want to make sure it's lined up on both sides so it's a smooth transition. Over here, I'm going to open this up. And you know what? I'm going to leave the top part open and like a little tuck as well. Because that means I can put something tall in this pocket and tuck it up underneath here. And it will hold it. If I had something here that was tall, so I can hook it in there to hold it in so it won't flip out since it's on the outside. So that's a little different formation there. And so now that flips up. I've got my pocket. We'll have that pocket over there, close it, and I have my closure. So yep, that works. Now, a lot of you probably knows, well, it's got like a thing there. Well, I can do one of two things. That actually coordinates. So I think I'm going to use that piece. I was originally going to take one of the scraps and use that of coordinating color. That's sort of like that one. And that will stabilize that. That adds something different in. And by luck, it was pretty much the same length or width. There. So, I'm going to make that, there's that fold. So I'm going to make sure that's centered, that fold is centered right in the middle of that. And you can tell by looking on your design up here, if you've pretty much got it setting, and also on the sides. And just push that down. And now that fold is stabilized and it's not going to go anywhere. Now I can decorate this later a little bit better and add the stuff in, but for right now, I'm not. Over here is where that pocket is. I'm going to make it a double pocket, so put a line of glue right down the center there. There we go. Now, if you want to add some of the coordinating colors and whatnot, you can take this coordinating color. That's what I did here from that strip. I just thought because that looked neat. I'm not doing this one because I don't want the solid. I'll use something else later to decorate this up. You can go and put a closure on here. I can take a little, sort of hard to see there, but I can take a little piece right there and so that it holds it. I would have to double that to make it stiffer to hold it, that would slide under. You can put eyelets. You can attach a string, wrap it and tie it any way you want to do your closures. But what do you all think? Here was the original inspiration. How do you think I did? Did I reproduce it just from a picture pretty decently? Pocket here, flip up, pocket here. I think I did pretty good. But there you go, and that's why I'm hoping the videos from here on out are going to be a little bit more involved showing you my process, but I've got that. And from my first mock-up. And there you go. I'll catch you later.